What's going on, everybody? It's Coach Bronson here. I am going to share my story today. I'm going to talk about how I got started on my journey, some of the struggles, some of the reasons why I started on this journey, how I got to where I am today, how I went from being 70 pounds overweight to being in the best shape of my life at 50 years old. Okay. But before we do that, let's roll the intro. I'll see you on the other side. All right, guys, this is my story. This is the shortest version I can give you. I'm going to try to keep it to under, 10, 20, 30 minutes to kind of see how things go. There's a lot here. Let's see if I can cram it all in. Okay. I'm 50 years old. If you haven't heard my story before, because I'm realizing that I don't think I've ever actually put my story out on my own channel. I've talked about it on interviews. I've talked about it when I talk to people, but I've never actually kind of given you guys my background, because I think what you guys see is 15 years of evolution. Okay. I'm 50 years old now. I didn't get started on this journey until my mid to late 30s. Right. So there is, number one, hope for you. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can get started. You can reach the potential that you have. And number two, the challenges that I deal with are the same challenges that you're dealing with. Okay. I still deal with food cravings at times. I still deal with habits and things that are ingrained in my body when I'm put in certain situations that I have to struggle, that I have to challenge myself and stay true to who I am, without going off track. I still have body dysmorphia issues where I see myself and I'm not happy with how I look. I still have issues where I compare myself to my former self or other people. And I have to remind myself that it's my journey alone. And it's not based on where I am. It's based on where I was. It's based on where I'm trying to go. So all of the things that I talk to you guys about on a regular basis, I know them because I live them. Okay. So I don't ever want anyone to look at my social media profile, look at me on YouTube, see the things that I'm doing, see the way that I live my life, and think that everything's fine and dandy. Okay. Things are fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I love where I'm at. Okay. Number one, because I'm going forward and I'm always trying to get better. But number two, I know where I've come from. And number three, just having the physical ability. I've gotten to a point in my journey where I can do whatever I want to do. I have no limitations. And that's where I want to try to get you to. Okay. All of the things that we deal with are worth it when you get to a point in your life where you have nothing holding you back. And that's what this journey is about. Okay. So how I got started, 15 years in 20 minutes. When I was in my mid 30s, right, I was getting out of the military. I had an image of myself as being somebody who was physical, active, in shape. I went to the gym. I was in the Army. I used to train and coach U.S. Army combatives, which is the Army's hand-to-hand combat program. I had been doing a bunch of things that were physical and active. I considered myself to be in really good shape. At one point in time, shortly before, I think it was probably 37 or 38 years old, 37 years old, something like that. I went to the beach and my daughter took a picture of me, this picture. Okay. And I was kind of like slapped in the face. I realized, like, whoa, who the heck is that guy? Like, this is not the image that I had in my mind of who I was. I had man boobs, I had a gut, I looked sloppy, and it just wasn't the image that I had of myself. I still thought of myself as that 17, 18-year-old gung-ho, spit and fire soldier who could go out there and do anything, anytime, anywhere, and never ran out of energy and faced every challenge. That's how I thought of myself. And that's not what I saw in that picture. So that planted a seed. That was one of the first things that kind of kicked me in the butt to say, okay, something's not right. Something's got to change. You're not going in the direction you need to go. Okay. Another thing that happened at the time, the woman I was dating at the time, we had a conversation. We had a great relationship. Things could have been better though. And I found this out when we talked, and she told me that as much as we cared about each other, as much as things were going well, there was a level of mindset about growth and development, of individual improvement, that we were not on the same sheet of music. She was working to get better. She was in school. She was trying to do things to improve herself. And I was happy where I was. I wasn't worried about what I ate. I wasn't really active. I went to the gym, but I went to the gym more socially than to actually, I didn't have a goal. I wasn't following a program. I just kind of did it because that was what you were supposed to do. I didn't have a specific reason I was doing it. I was not doing anything. I wasn't doing any extra education. I wasn't reading any, like I was literally just kind of floating through life. I had a good job. We had good times. We went out and did stuff. Like life was great and I was chill. I was going backwards. I didn't realize I was going at the time. I didn't realize I was in that trap of things are good, so I don't need to do anything. Okay. When things are going well, that's when you need to double down and make sure that the things you're doing are going to keep things going well. If you stop, you end up going backwards. And I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that I was physically, I was getting worse. I was putting on weight. I was having health issues that weren't quite as apparent at the time. They became apparent later on, or more apparent later on. And that was another thing, that conversation that impacted my life, where between the picture that I saw and realizing that I wasn't living the identity I thought I had, and my mindset was affecting my relationship and my daily life, right? Something had to change. I started looking at some things. I started going to the gym, trying to be a little bit more detailed about and focused on what I was doing at the gym. I looked for some programs online that I could participate in, because here's the difference. Here's the one thing that's a little different in my story that may be different in yours or a lot of other people's, is that I've always been active. I always looked at fitness first before nutrition. Okay. So when I thought I need to make a change to my lifestyle to improve my quality of life, I looked at fitness first. To me, strength and physical ability have always been the key to improving things in my life. So that's where I went first. Okay, I want to get stronger. If I want to look fit, if I want to change the physical representation of my fitness, then I need to go get fit. I need to go exercise. I need to work out. I need to build muscle. Muscle gives you shape. That's what I was thinking, right? So that was where I kind of started. Found some programs, did some things for about a year and a half, 2 years. Things improved, got a little bit better. At least my mindset had shifted into I want to get better. So anytime you make that mind shift, things will get better. It may not be straight line. It may be all over the place if you don't know really what you're doing and you're not really following a plan like I was. It was kind of just doing this, doing that, doing this, but I was trying things out and learning along the way. At about just before my 40th birthday, I went on a cruise. We went on a cruise together. And on that cruise, I met a guy who did CrossFit. And he introduced me to CrossFit. We did a couple of workouts on the boat. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I need to do this. Got back from the cruise, found a gym, started going to the gym, fell in love with the concept, with the methodologies, with the community, with all the things about CrossFit. Ended up getting trained, getting certified as a coach. I started coaching. I coached for a few years, really got into learning about how the body moves and learning what fitness actually is and how it applies to quality of life. One of the big things I love about the CrossFit methodology is it is rooted in the basis of the entire methodology of CrossFit is helping people improve their health, which in turn helps them improve their quality of life. CrossFit is all about improving all of the aspects of fitness that we use every day, right? Because it's about individual physical freedom. And that's what I fell in love with. That's the basis of, if you ever listen to anything I talk about, that's what I talk about. That's the basis. That's where it comes from. I learned a lot of that stuff in my exposure to CrossFit. Okay. So I coached CrossFit for a couple of years, ended up deciding that, hey, I've been doing IT for over 20 years. I needed to find something else to do when I retire, when I get out of that, which still hasn't really happened. So I decided to open a gym. I figured I'll open a gym. I'll have that to do when I get out of IT. I can have this gym. So I opened up a gym in 2014, ran that gym for almost 6 years, a little over 5 years. I sold it actually right before COVID. And along the way, I learned a ton. I got tons of training. I spent those 5+ years doing nothing but getting hands-on training, experimenting with concepts and methodologies, learning everything I can about the human body, being exposed to nutrition. Now, here's the thing. My girlfriend, who became my wife at the time, got a master's in nutrition. She became a licensed dietitian, nutritionist, and I soaked all the knowledge I possibly could out of her. Okay. Now, here's the thing. I was still out of shape. Okay. I owned a gym for 5+ years, a CrossFit gym for 5+ years. Okay. I still had IBS. I still had urgent bowels. My life was 110% controlled by how close I could make myself to a bathroom. If I wasn't near a bathroom, I had to manipulate the whatever was going on to a point where I either went before we got there, I went right after we left, or got home. Like everything, I had to go to the bathroom or make sure there was a bathroom nearby before I made any decisions about where I was going, when I was going, or how long I was going to be there. Okay. It was horrible. Absolute. Traveling on trains, taking a long drive, planes, trains, and automobiles, guys. It was horrible. I am the only person I know who has gone to the bathroom on the side of the road in multiple countries. Okay, that's how bad I was. If I traveled anywhere, I had to have toilet paper in the car. I went on a business trip to the UK, driving on the wrong side of the road. No idea where the hell I was. I had to find a wood line on the side of the highway and go to the bathroom. Okay, that is not a fun way to live. It's not a fun way to live at all. Okay, this is after being a CrossFit athlete, owning a CrossFit gym, being the healthy, in shape guy that everybody thought that I was. Okay, I was miserable, absolutely miserable. Okay, not to mention I looked like this. Okay, I was still overweight. I was still had man boobs. Okay, these are things that when you look on the outside, you're like, again, I looked at this a few years after starting the gym. I looked at this picture and was slapped in the face again. It was like, I'm a CrossFit guy. I shouldn't look like that. I'm a CrossFit owner. I am looking at that picture and I'm like, why would anybody want to go to my gym when I look like that? It was frustrating. It was hard. I couldn't stand the idea that I wasn't representing the ideal for what I thought, what I was trying to get other people to do, what I thought I shouldn't look like as a coach, right? How am I going to tell you how to get in shape if I can't get in shape myself? That was my mentality. Okay. And so I was struggling. This is almost 10 years from when I first had these realizations and started my journey. Okay. We're talking years later, guys. This isn't something like just a couple years later. This is 4 years, 4 years into owning my gym. Okay. This is 6, 7, 8 years after that picture on the beach initially that my daughter took that slapped me in the face. 8 years after I had the conversation with my girlfriend. Okay. So this is a process. Was I in better health? Absolutely. Was I more physically capable? Absolutely. Was I optimal? No. Was I lean? No. Was I as fit as I could be, as healthy as I could be? No. I still had a ton of issues. Here's where things really got cool. Okay. I heard about Sean Baker's interview on Joe Rogan early May 2018. Okay. I decided to try it. Decided to try carnivore. Took a few days, kind of read up on some things, listened to the podcast, looked at, find out whatever I could. There wasn't much at the time, 2018. It seems like such a short time ago. There wasn't really that much out there. And decided to go cold turkey. Now, because of my environment where I was living, because I was focused on trying to be fit, had played around over the past few years with paleo, Whole30, 21-day sugar detox. I'd done a bunch of different things because my wife at the time was a nutritionist. She was had again master's in nutrition, licensed dietitian nutritionist. That's what she did for a living. So I was again soaking up knowledge, trying all of the things, the traditional way of doing nutrition. Okay. I was frustrated because that picture that I showed of what I look like after all this whole process, I was eating clean. I was not eating processed food. I was low dairy. I was moderate to low carb. I wasn't eating a lot of carbs. The carbs I ate were mostly veggies and fiber, right? I didn't eat any starches, things like that. So the biggest thing that I cut out at one point was alcohol. I tried cutting out alcohol. That was eye-opening. That's a whole nother discussion. But for me, I was not finding a solution for my bowel issues, my stomach issues. I was not finding a solution for getting fat, right? Anytime I wanted to get stronger, I got fat as hell. It was annoying. I literally at one point had one set of clothes for when I was doing a strength cycle and one set of clothes for when I was trying to get cut and lean, because I would shrink, my muscle mass would go down, I would get lean, I would get ripped. Okay. But I also got weak. I hated that. So I had to going back and forth to that cycle. Put these clothes away. I didn't have summer and winter clothes. I had fat and skinny clothes because I would go back and forth. I'm bulking. I'm going to get fat but strong, right? Yeah. Annoying. Absolutely annoying. So I decided to go cold turkey with carnivore. May 1st, 2018, I went cold turkey. Okay. It was a couple months before I realized that I wasn't having bowel issues anymore. It was a couple months before I realized, like, I had been in such a habit of anytime we went somewhere, I'm going to go to the bathroom once, twice, maybe 3 times to try and poop just in case something happened on the way and I had to go in the middle of the drive. I had so gotten into that routine. And when we got there, I wanted to go just to make sure so it didn't interrupt the rest of the event or whatever we were at. That routine I was still doing. After about 3 months, I realized, wait, as much as I'm doing this still, I went from trying 3 times to trying 2 times to trying 1 time to thinking, well, the last few times I've done this, nothing's happened. And I've made it all the way to wherever we're going and I've not had a problem. Maybe I don't need to do that anymore. And it dawned on me how much I was actually doing that. It wasn't until I didn't have to deal with it that I realized how much it had been controlling what I was doing. The decisions that I was making in planning and scheduling, and are we going to go to that event? Are we going to do this? Are we going to take that trip? Not, no, what's available? Where's the bathroom? Can I bring this with me? All those kinds of things. It's 40 years later. I've not had a problem with urgent bowels. When I have been in a situation where I've been in a car and I'm like, oh man, I think I have to go to the bathroom, it has not been urgent. I have been able to control it. I can't remember before carnivore. I cannot remember before carnivore when I had the urge to go to the bathroom that I could hold it. If I had an urge to go to the bathroom, I had to go to the bathroom. There was you were not stopping me from going to the bathroom. Okay. That has completely changed. That level of freedom outside of any of the physical things I can do, my strength, my functional fitness and that kind of stuff. Outside of that, just the idea that I'm no longer controlled by my body is a level of freedom and stress relief that I can't even express to you guys how amazing that feels. Okay. So just one benefit of tying in nutrition into the equation. This whole story, guys, in case you're not catching it, is an example. I am an example of my philosophy and my methodology and my belief that fitness and nutrition go together. You have to have them both. You cannot optimize your life if you're just doing fitness or just doing nutrition. You need to do both of them because they work together to make sure your body and your quality of life are as the best that can possibly be. Okay. So that was one major change. The second major change is I got lean. Like I got lean. Like I started dropping fat like crazy. My workouts sucked. For about 3 months. Okay. I was CrossFit, so high intensity interval training, fast weightlifting, all these things. My strength went down a little bit. My endurance and stamina and all those things, everything kind of had to scale things back a little bit because I just couldn't perform as well. Then I started performing better. I would realize that I wasn't as sore. One of the other issues that I dealt with being a CrossFitter and having a mentality to go hard all the time, which is a mentality I have since learned and changed and understand the importance of rest and recovery and proper effort and intensity. Another video for another day. But going hard all the time or a lot of the time, I was sore a lot. Like I was right in my mid 40s. trying to keep up with the image I thought, I had of myself in my 20s, of the things I could do then. And if I could get more than 3 days of exercise in, 3 days of workouts a week without getting an injury, then I was doing good. I was doing good. It was great. But I hurt all the time. Really, I hurt all the time. It sucked. Getting up in the morning, everything, something was always tight. Something was always pulled. I think in that period of time that I owned the CrossFit gym before carnivore, I had 2 torn calves, 3 pulled adductors, torn hammy. I've had issues with my neck. I have had herniated disc and degenerative disc in my neck even prior to CrossFit. 2 torn labrums in my shoulders and a torn meniscus in my left knee. Okay, those are all things that happened in that time. I would be out and unable to train certain things for weeks on end. We'd have a football game at Thanksgiving. We used to have an annual football game at Thanksgiving. Every year I would pull a hammy or pull a calf. It was ridiculous. It got to the point where it's like, I'm just going to show up and I'll be the all-time QB and I'm throwing, but I'm not running for nothing, right? So those were other things that I was dealing with. Now, after going carnivore, I realized I'm not sore. I can work out 3 days and I'm not sore. Let me try 4. I'm not sore. Let me try 5. I'm not sore. I got to a point, guys, where I could work out and do a full CrossFit workout 5 or 6 days a week and feel good, not wake up in the morning and hurt, not have any injuries. In fact, the injuries that I had that I was dealing with at the time before I went carnivore, after I went carnivore, they healed and have not returned. Since I went carnivore in 2018, okay, I have not had anything torn. I have not had anything pulled. I have been able to, I don't have any neck issues, right? They're technically still there, but it doesn't bother me. I used to get headaches. I used to not be able to sleep. I used to have issues with my torn labrums in my shoulders. I used to have issues. I couldn't sleep on one side for a while. Then I couldn't sleep on the other side for a while, like back and forth. Since I've been carnivore, none of these issues have been in it. They're vanished, right? So yeah, do I still have torn labrums? Absolutely. Are they healed 100%? Probably not. I haven't had an x-ray in a while. Do they bother me? No. Am I limited in the things that I can do? No. I used to not be able to do certain things because my shoulders hurt, because my neck hurt, because my knees hurt, because my hamstrings were pulled. There's nothing that I have a limitation on now. And I attribute 90% of that to being carnivore. Okay. Have I learned some additional and better ways to train that's less taxing on the body, particularly as I get older? Absolutely. I have, because I'm always trying to learn. There's new methodologies, new concepts that I've implemented in my training, but most of it has been my body's response to the training more than the training itself, because I'm still basically training the same way. Okay. So that's another benefit of the carnivore diet. If you followed me, if you know what I do when I'm experimenting with body composition, you know that I am a fan, and I firmly 150% believe, because I'm doing it right now. If you look at my other videos that are coming out at the same time as this one, you know that I am currently gaining muscle mass. I've put almost 4 pounds of skeletal muscle on my body in the past 3 months, at the same time as I've lost body fat percentage. My body fat, the amount of fat on my body is less now than it was 3 months ago, but I've added almost 4 pounds of muscle. Okay. I'm adding more than a pound of muscle a month at 50 years old, and I'm staying lean while I'm doing it. Okay. That is the secret to success. Being able to manage your nutrients and match your fitness program to what your goals are, and manipulate all of that together to improve your metabolic function, improve your muscle mass, improve your physical ability without adding inflammation, without adding body fat, and improving your recovery time. That's the holy grail, guys. That's what we're looking to do. And I figured it out. I think I figured it out. Okay. I say I think I figured it out because I'm trying to be modest, because I think I figured it out. Right? I've been doing it. If you're doing any of my programs, you're doing it too. All right. And it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter if you're a guy. It doesn't matter if you're a girl. It doesn't matter if you're 20. It doesn't matter if you're 70. It's going to work for you. All right. That being said, what you see today, Okay. I went from this to this basically for doing two things. Okay. You guys have heard me say it before. I started focusing on nutrient density. I stopped focusing on the quantity and the calories of the food I'm eating, but the quality in what it's doing to my body when I eat it. Okay. Nutrient density, getting nutrients in my body. My body doesn't live off of calories, it lives off of nutrition. Right. Trying to get as much of those nutrients into my body as possible. I did that by lifting weights and learning how to move properly and getting the most out of every workout and making sure that the workouts were meeting my goals for functional fitness and improving my quality of life. I don't lift heavy just to lift heavy. I lift heavy in order to maintain a certain level of function that I want to maintain and keep that function as I get older. That's my goal. That's what I'm looking for. I don't care if I ever lift 500 pounds. Doesn't matter to me. I don't need to squat 500 pounds. If I can squat my body weight and then some, I'm doing freaking fantastic. I can squat more than that, and I like squatting more than that. But if I get to a point where I can't, it's not going to destroy me because my identity isn't how much I can lift. My identity is in how much I can live. So that's one of the things that I've learned over the past 15 years. Okay. So that's my story, guys. That's about as much of it as I can think to talk about. That's basically the progression of me being 70 pounds heavier than I am now. Okay. Figuring out that my identity didn't match my life, that I was living apart from who I thought I was, that I needed to change. And then the journey of finding what works for me. I started with fitness. I found something that was working. It got me moving in a direction. Then I realized I was stuck. I was still having issues. I needed to find something else. So then I found some more stuff in the nutrition side of things. Okay. Was that easy? Absolutely not. Making changes on nutrition wasn't easy. It in many ways, I don't talk about this a lot, but I talked earlier about my wife. Okay. My girlfriend who became my wife, we got a divorce, partially because I went carnivore. So when you guys talk about the challenges and the struggles that you have with not having family that supports you, not having friends who support you on your journey, whether it's fitness, whether it's health, whether it's changing your mindset around what success in life really looks like. Okay. I was married to somebody who was 110% against carnivore. As a licensed dietitian nutritionist, that became one of the most divisive things in our lives. That contributed heavily into our split because I was 110% sold on what the carnivore lifestyle was doing for me in evidence of reality outside of the theoretical or the scientific textbook, what should be happening. Okay. That caused a split. I'm no longer married to her. She's doing her thing. I'm doing my thing. I'm having a blast. I'm living my best life right now. And carnivore has brought me someone else into my life. This community has exposed me to other people who are willing to buck the trends, go against common knowledge, go against the guidelines. And I've now found somebody in Coach Nat who I can live with and have a very successful and cooperative, collaborative relationship where we're both trying to do similar things and move the same way and help people. So again, write it out. If you think this is working for you and you know why you're doing it, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. Okay. I'm not telling you to go get a divorce. I'm not telling you to split up with your spouse or disown your family, anything like that. That was just my experience. That's what happened. It is what it is. Okay. But you need to understand that people aren't going to follow you just because you say this is the way things need to be. Okay. Don't push it on people. Live your life, set an example, show that it's possible by doing it yourself. Keep your mouth shut. Let your actions do the talking. Okay. Eventually they'll come around. All right. So that's my life, guys. I've been there. I've been struggling. I've been through the struggle. I understand what it's like to live in stress and have the cravings for ice cream. I used to eat ice cream. I used to eat French fries. When I went through my divorce, ice cream was my kind of go-to stress relief, and I had to figure out how to break from that again. So it comes and it goes. It comes and it goes. Okay. Don't stress over it if you have a bad day. Just pick yourself up, and the next opportunity you have to get back on track, take that opportunity. If that means you ate a pint of ice cream tonight, then make sure you get good sleep. That's the first thing you can do. Sleep is important. Sleep is part of your health routine. Get a good night's sleep. Get up in the morning and keep going. Okay. So if there's anything in here that you guys want to learn more about or hear more about my story, let me know. I want you to feel like you have a connection with my story on some level, because I want you to know that I'm just like you guys. Okay. I'm just like you. I'm not anything special when it comes to having the same struggles you do. Just like I'm a person, you're a person. We have individual experiences, but we're still people that all have the same type of crap to deal with. Okay. So hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully that helps you understand that it's possible for you, that fitness is important, that nutrition is important, that having people that support you is important. Get a community. It's one of the things I love about CrossFit. It's one of the things I love about the keto carnivore community. There's always people out there who are trying to get better. That's the key. Find people who are going to help make you better. Okay. And get the support and help you need. That's all I got to talk about today, guys. Take it easy. If this was helpful, share it with somebody. Okay. Share. We want to get stories out there. The more stories we get out there, the more people can have something they can relate to. And maybe, just maybe, they might make a change for themselves. See ya.